Observations of a 100-hour fast from my experience. My name is Loren Weisman. I'm a brand communications and optics strategist, and I wouldn't call it a challenge, but more so just an attempt at the longest fast I'd ever done. I did a number of 24s, a series of 48s. Every few months I would do a 72, but this past week I felt pushed to try to do what originally started as a 4-day and then was, okay, if that's 96 hours, make it 100. I did this. Now, prior to saying this, I'm not any kind of health expert. I'm not giving any kind of advice. I'm not saying do this or don't do this. I'm simply sharing my experience, what impacted me and how it impacted me. And one of the issues I have with a lot of people that put up fasting videos online is they share linear experiences that they've had for themselves and then begin to go out there and claim, this is what it will do for you. This is how it's going to affect you. This is how it's going to impact you. Yes, there are certain things that are absolute. There's an element of ketosis. There's an element of autophagy. There's an element of hunger. There's a lot of different things that happen. But all of us, we come from different times, different bodies, different ages, different experiences, different diets. So I'm sharing my experience more on the whole of, if you're considering doing something like this, here's one option and the path that I experienced. Yours could be absolutely different. I was looking back in the Bible and I was reading, and this was during the fast, about, and then David fasted 7 days. I can't do that 7-day thing. And I looked at some of the people that are saying, oh, I'm doing 7 days and I'm doing these and I'm doing these kind of fasts. But then they talk about, well, they're drinking electrolytes or they're drinking this or they're eating that, but they've still redefined a fast. To me, the fast that I did was a water fast. All I had was water. No salt, no electrolytes, no teas, no any kind of sport drink, nothing like that. It was purely water and nothing else. Also, as I was doing this fast, I'm having some health issues. So I'm not up and around all that much at the moment. So it made it a little bit easier. I mean, if I was trying to think how I would do a 4-day fast if I was in fifth gear and in a normal schedule, and I thought, okay, maybe I'd start that on a Thursday or a Wednesday night and take it through Sunday. Because the first 2 days of the fast, I could operate, there was a focus overall. Come day 3, I was going to run an errand, and for me, I felt like getting in a car was not a good idea. And with some people and some bodies and some people that are a little bit smaller, if you're fasting, maybe driving as a whole, any part of that fast is not such a good idea. Day 1 to me was normal. Oftentimes I do 18, 6, or 24 intermittent fasting. So it really was, in a sense, just popping 4 more hours on. It was not a big thing. It felt like the normal fasting. There's an aspect that feels a little cleansing. There's an aspect that feels a little opening for me. Day 2, a little bit more of feeling the impact. A couple moments of feeling just a little bit dizzy. But also what I've noticed is in the 48-hour period, certain elements where you feel a little off physically, they can come a little stronger strategically, creatively, cognitively. I felt a little bit more on my game mentally and for some of the work that I was doing. Day 3 surprised me. I normally do not pass the 72, and in the past when I've done that, I'm in much more of a resting thing, but day 3 was a working day for me. And as I was working, I dealt with a really just awful narcissistic attack from someone. They were throwing, just insult on insult. They were being immensely difficult. They were being really challenging. And as I worked to better myself and be calm and react subjectively and not eye for an eye, I felt a little bit stronger in that fasting. I felt that I could I felt not only the jabs didn't hit, but just the cognitive element of going, no, I know this isn't true. And right now, to return an insult on insult, or to prove this person wrong, or even to showcase the evidence that this person is wrong, it's not going to serve me, it's not going to serve them. So not saying I wouldn't have reacted in a strong way, not being on the fast, but I felt stronger on the fast. I also, weight is not a thing to me when it comes to these fasts. It never has been. The fasting for me is health, and that fasting for me is faith. There's a faithful element, as I believe we're told to fast, shows up there in the Bible. So I was fasting, and as I was fasting, I was praying on some certain things that are impacting my life. And I was asking for wisdom. I was asking for discernment, understanding, knowledge, clarity. I was consulting in a way where I said, okay, tell me this. Help me to hear this. And sometimes I feel, for me in a fasted state, that clarity and what's heard is a little bit more. It's a little bit more tuned in. It's a little bit clearer. And certain things that I was asking about, I feel I got answers to. So from the faith side of the fast, I felt some clarity. And I was re-asking the questions a couple times over and over again through even just the hardest times. And they came through. The sleep was different. The first night was nothing. The second night, the dreams were a little bit more vivid. The third night, it was a very vivid dream. And, just that much more colorful, that much more alive. I don't remember a lot of my dreams. This one I remember from start to finish. Coming into the last day, I'd never gone 4 days, much less the extra 4 hours to hit the 100 mark. I had originally set my schedule to do some things in the morning and then cut off. I figured I'll watch some TV, I'll read a little bit, I'll pray, I'll just kind of come in on the end here slowly. Didn't feel the need to. I felt another boost of energy. Even in a little bit of exhaustion, I felt creatively energetic. I worked on a couple of recordings. I worked on some things I needed to write. I worked on a couple strategy elements. I even took a couple calls that I wasn't planning on taking till the beginning of the week. It ended up being as strong. I was coming toward the end. And then it was funny because in those last couple hours, I was at that point at around 94, 95. I was starting to get hungry and I wanted to eat. And then it was 98 and 99 where I thought, okay, I'm closing this out at 5. Would it be better to just take a shower, chill out, and maybe take this thing a little bit longer till the morning? Once 5:27 came along, my endpoint, I felt it was not going to go any further than this. I had a little bit of chicken noodle soup. I had a banana with a little bit of peanut butter on a piece of sourdough with a little honey on it. I had some fruit. And I had a prebiotic drink that was already in the refrigerator, and all light and small amounts just to not upset the stomach. My stomach was a little bit upset, but it was a good night of sleeping. I woke up this morning and had a smaller, healthy breakfast and feel just dialed in and almost refreshed. In some of the things that's happening to me physically, which have been a great challenge, there's a pain reduction that was happening during the fast, and while pain has kind of gone up and down, it's at a lower level right now. The last couple of things I noticed that were strange in the 100-hour fast was it was almost like emitting this different scent off. I'm very smell sensitive, and I'm not saying it's like a stench. And I was showering and I was doing whatever, to be healthy. I wasn't doing one of those extreme fasts where I wasn't even brushing my teeth. But I feel like my overall scent has been, around day 3, it just altered a bit. It was just a little bit different. Nothing bad, nothing offensive, just a touch different. And I've noticed it even this morning. The other thing too, and that changed, was sound. About day 3, I became much more aware of sounds, even to the point that certain noises were enhanced, and certain noises were just annoying. Like I was turning certain things down, or I'd hear a certain noise that would never bother me before. It became annoying. And then, this morning waking up and hearing some of those similar sounds, nothing, it's gone. I don't have that enhanced or whatever it is hearing. So again, in wrapping this up, I'm not trying to ramble on for 10 minutes and but this was my experience. I'm 6'2", I'm 240, probably a few pounds less right now because of that fast. I'm having certain health issues right now where I've having a couple surgeries. I'm having, all of these things play in. I'm also a man of faith. That plays into the way that I fast and how I fast and the experience in there. Your experience may be different. Your faith may be different. Your body may be different. If you're considering fasting, and I'm not putting any kind of recommendation on it, look to how people experience, but plan the experience for yourself. Yes, there's the scientific about ketosis and autophagy. Yes, there are proven benefits as a whole. But inside of these proven benefits, they might not always end up proving true to you. That's part of the optic of this thing. And it's part of what I do inside of business. That while this is something impactful, while it felt strong for me, while I'm glad I did it and I'll do it again, and I'm probably going to get on to, even just after getting over this, I'll get back onto an 18-6 or a 20, a 20 and a 4. I have not to get overly personal, I have a colonoscopy at the end of the week, and they were on the phone. They called me doing all the confirmations in the middle of the fast. And they're like, okay, so at this point you can only drink water, or you can't drink anything else. You've got to do this. You're gonna be looking at about 24 hours, a little bit more, give or take. Are you going to be able to handle that? You can't do food. And I told the lady, I said, I'm on 100-hour. 24:30, no problem. Point being, if you're looking into this, look at what it is for you. And if something feels off, stop. But at the same time, with all the hype that's out there, with all these people saying, you need to, you have to, here's the latest challenge. If that doesn't fit for you, don't follow it. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't follow it. Don't be a sheep. Try new things. But also, if your favorite influencer or your favorite person is saying this is this and this, it's opinion. I mean, the same thing goes back to those days when everything was, it's this antidepressant, or it's this weight loss drug, or it's this food. For every time that we were told we can't eat this, but now you can. This is absolutely awful for you. Oh, no, it's really good for you. These things are subjective. Where they are proven with a certain group of people, it's not that way with all people. So as you experience things, whether it be with fasting, with your health, with your fitness, with your business, take the time, please, to look in to see what's going to work for you, and use the experiences. I mean, if my experience of what I've gone through is of any help, or things that you may compare to, or things that you may contrast to, great. But my experience will definitely not be your experience. Or maybe it will be dead on. But the point is, and I guess that's where I'm kind of rolling, and I'm sorry that I've rambled even further. The point is, with anything, physical, business, anywhere else, look to what's out there, what people have experienced, but make sure that as you take it in, you see it, even if they're claiming it as fact, that it is their opinion and their experience. And your opinion and your experience may be different. And that even goes into AI. Oh, AI told me this. What? Because it, basically pulled together a whole bunch of very high popular information that has an algorithmic learning element to it, and it was presented this way. That doesn't mean it's everything. That doesn't mean that it's the answer. Inside of AI too, it's how you receive and what you do with that data, as opposed to taking it for just face value. So that was the overall of my 100-hour fast, with a video that maybe feels like 100 hours, my experience with it. My biggest things that I would say, though, regardless to everyone, if you're not feeling 100% and you're doing a fast, especially a long fast, consider not driving. If you're not sure, about the experience, to have certain foods like broth, like hard-boiled eggs, like a probiotic, kind of drink there, so that when you get off, it's a little bit easier. That's one thing that has been across the board, that, after a very long fast, you're not going to want to load your stomach up all of a sudden. That's an objective fact across the board. Anyways, that's my experience. That's my 100-hour fast. I hope it's of interest or of help, or just of, something for you. That's all I got.